Hi, you guys. All right, so this can be our first little tutorial video for laying out the paper. Unfortunately, I was going to do this on the computers at school, but the server is not working, and I really wanted to show you guys how we turn layouts from past issues into our current layouts, because that is a huge step that helps a lot, makes it a lot easier. The whole process goes a ton faster when we have the past layout. But unfortunately, the server's not working, so that's going to come later on in the tutorial videos. So today I'm just going to show you the basics of Adobe InDesign, give you some of my tips and tricks, some little pieces of advice that you will want to know for InDesign. So here we go. I'm going to share my screen and begin showing you how to do stuff. Alrighty. So here we have our, okay, there we go. Here we have our InDesign document, completely blank right now because I don't have access to any past layouts on my computer at home. A good place to start, I would say, would just be a basic text box. I previously copied an article. I'm just gonna, oh, no, I didn't. We're gonna have to recopy that. Let me grab that really quick from our handy dandy Google. You can just copy any document, paste it into the text box, and that's about all you have to do. One tip for our editors is you want to make sure a million times that you have the modern or the current document of whatever, whoever's article it is. Be really bad if you had not like updated the version if they had made changes since the last time you put the article in. So sometimes we have like placeholder articles because the person hasn't finished writing it or something. Just remember to always make sure it is the correct version of the document. All right. So we have our basic text box with words in it. Very exciting stuff. However, I bet you can tell that this is not correct. Most pages have at least 4 or 5. I believe 5 columns is the most common, but some have 4, or at least one page of news has 4 columns. Down here in text frame, on the bottom corner of the Adobe InDesign, we're going to move the arrow up or down based on how many columns you want. I'm going to change it to 5 for this. And then there you go. That is basically how you get the columns. Fun fact, if you press W, you can get the purple to show up and go away. And the purple helps you make sure you're lined up. These little lines right here. If you go outside of the purple, it won't print when we're actually getting the physical paper. So you have to be careful about that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to edit copy that entire thing, then edit paste down here, just so we have more. Let's talk you through these arrows. So this arrow that's hollowed out here is the one we go to most frequently. You can select an entire box, move stuff around, move an entire picture around, you know. This arrow is the white box arrow. So if there's some weird thing going on where you can't see part of the text but nothing's on top of it and everything's moving around weirdly, chances are it's an issue with a white box. You'll get used to it. That's one of those trial and error things on the computer. Yes, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to kind of, sorry about that. We're going to go to our big arrow. We're going to extend this article down to there. However, we're just going to pretend the article ends there. We're going to make it a shorty little article. Oh my goodness. Probably copied too much. Okay, great. We're just going to say that the article ends at this sentence at honors classes for the sake of how much room we have on this page. This article, we're going to do the same exact thing to make it even shorter. Sorry about this, you guys. All right, there we go. We go back to my white arrow, shrink that down a bit, probably to like, there's fine. Okay, I'm gonna move this whole text box up. You can just use the little arrows on the corner of your computer, like on the keyboard, to move stuff up and down and sideways and stuff. Cool. Let's get talking about headlines. So to do a headline text box, I'm just gonna make a really long text box across the top, and I'll do the same thing for this one. Key tip here. Headlines are interesting. The top headline is always the biggest one on the page. So I'm gonna call this headline will be Mr. Broccoli beats Novato High in the game. That's what our headline's gonna be. Don't know where Mr. Broccoli came from, but that's okay. We're gonna do this. As you see, when we got to a certain point, it disappeared. That's because the font size was too large. The goal for headlines, which is an interesting dilemma that we haven't had to deal with online articles, is that you want to make sure you have a headline that fits perfectly across the article, but have the top one still be larger than the small one. So let's say the bottom article's headline is students express concern over increasing or need just a fake headline, increasing bird poop incidents. That's going to be our bottom headline. We're going to increase it. Our font right now is 20. This font right now is 28. In this situation, I would say from this page, I think that this headline's too small. So I would try to take a few words out of that headline and increase the headline size just a little bit. Maybe even a little bit more than that. I do not know yet. I wish I could see a little better, but I don't know how much you can see that right now. Just, you want to make sure it's a good balance, and the top one's larger, but not like so much larger that it is the only thing you are looking at. So that's my basic advice when it comes to headlines. Also note that you have the first letter of your headline capitalized, and then other than that, unless it's like a pronoun, you do not capitalize it. So this, all lowercase except for the first letter. Cool. Let's talk bylines. Bylines are very fun. I'm just gonna make a fake byline right now. Not good. This could be a white box issue, which is always a fun one to deal with. This might be annoying. Maybe I won't worry about that. Bylines you will figure out more in class. There will be example ones that have been used in past layouts that you can literally just copy and paste. I'm not going to try and make one on this computer. It's a pain, and I don't know the best way to do it. Also, make sure your tabs are in the right spot. I'm not going to do that here either, but remember to go through at the end of your article and tab everything. Right now, I am going to send myself, I'm going to stop sharing because I do not know what is in my camera roll, and I'm going to find a photo to use as an example photo. Awesome. Let's find a great photo for an example. I just want to show you guys how to wrap text and such. This is a good one. Okie dokie. Found a great photo. Okay, now I can share my screen again. Cool. Alrighty. So I have a photo on my desktop, right? Awesome. We actually, our new computers allow you to just drag a photo from your desktop and put it into your layout. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to drag this lovely photo here of my dog and put it onto my layout. It is huge though, as you might notice. So I'm going to click on the hollow arrow, click on the photo. First of all, move it into my site a little bit, and then start dragging it smaller because we just need to get the size down significantly, right? You know, it's all about trial and error. We're gonna just make it a size that we want. And yes, you cannot see the dog, but that's the next step. So I'm gonna say this one should be in this article. Beautiful. I'm gonna size it to about how big I'd like it to be. Probably right there. That's a good size. Awesome. Love it. Now you're gonna press on this little weird thing. And I do not know if you can tell, but this ginormous orange box pops up. You can kind of see. Now you're going to press down the shift and then progressively drag in this little orange box. I'm honestly having a very hard time with this right now, but we're going to go back and drag the orange box smaller, and then we can go back in, zoom in, and there we have basically an accurate depiction of the photo I wanted to be in there. Sorry, my computer is kind of overheating, if that's what you hear. So great. We have Mr. Broccoli here, who is totally in the picture beating Novato High in the game. But as you can probably see, you can't see any of the words behind it. So you're going to come down here to the right side of your screen and click on Text Wrap. And then ta-da, you can actually read about fall semester finals, which are absolutely relevant to the dog and Mr. Broccoli. However, now you're going to realize that when you have the picture there, you cannot see the whole article. So you're going to try to move it down. You're going to try moving the photo around to see it. There's a better place for the photo. You're just going to start messing around with different potential options. Then you might start playing around with this article too to see if you change the placement of this article, if it'll make the other article fit in better. This is just a little bit of the beauty of being an editor. You really just have to keep changing stuff until it finally works. Quite clearly, the article does not fit here. So this might be a situation where you say, okay, either I need to make the photo smaller or I need to tell someone to cut their article a little bit. Yes, that's a little bit of my insight. Also, I'm not going to put this here now, but you're going to have a caption under the photo. That's another thing that you can just copy from a past layout. It has really specific font sizes, and it has like the white box on it already, so I'm not going to try to create one on here. What else do I want to cover? Lines. Rarely have I ever used the line tool, but occasionally you have an article. I'll do a little example for you. Let's just try this out. I'm going to change this to 2. Go like that. Copy, edit, paste. Occasionally you have layouts like this. Also going to change this entire thing here. Where you have 2 articles next to each other vertically, like so. In this situation, we usually encourage editors to have a line in between the articles. All you're going to do is come to this little line tool right here. You are going to pick a place where you want to start, and you are going to draw a line. When it gets to a perfect point, it'll turn pink or purple or whatever you want to call it. And then you can kind of change it to the size you want. If you want it to be thicker, you can change it here, make it super thick, which we don't want, but you can. You can mess around with it. You can also change the color. I don't think you're ever gonna have to change the color, but that's an option. Yes, so bylines are going to always be up here in the top corner of your article. You are going to have the email of the reporter in the bottom corner of the article. And under every photo, you will have a caption and the name of the person who has credit for the photo. So if the reporter themselves went and took the photo, you put their name. If you ask someone permission to use a photo that they took and they say, yes, of course you can use that photo, you say courtesy of that person's name. Up here, you'll have the name of your section. I'm trying to think what else I have forgotten. Yes, I think those are the very basics of InDesign. If you go over here to pages, this gets a little confusing, but it'll make more sense on the school computers. This thing called A Master affects what you're changing. So usually when you click, oh, this is why we don't mess around with it. When you click A Master on the computers at school, you will be able to play around with the name of your section and the date and all of that stuff, which is usually the last step that you do when laying out a paper, but is important. What else am I missing? Here you change your font size, all of that stuff. Yeah, those are the very basics. I'll be able to get into more detail when I'm on the computers at school. But unfortunately, that just is not entirely possible right now. It does make it significantly easier though when you are not having to recreate all of the stuff on your own. Like usually you make a copy of one of the old issue layouts for your page, and then you kind of transform that into what you want to be for this issue. And that way you don't have to try to figure out how to make a byline. It has like very specific fonts and font sizes for different parts of the byline and stuff like that. So yes, at the end of the video, I will include the pictures I took of the correct font sizes, the correct fonts for different parts of the layout, and all of that wonderful information. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, reach out to me. My email is phasman.students.nusd.org. You can also group me message me. All right. Thank you, editors.